Hello, I'm Julianne. I blog at This Fleeting Dream, which, if there was a poll, would probably win the award for the most pretentious blog name ever. Well, at least in book blogging. I'm really excited to be part of the Bookish Brits team. I believe I have met at least 3 of the other Bookish Brits. I definitely met Michelle, Kylie and Daphne before, but I may have met some of the others. I don't have the best memory for faces, so sorry if I have met you and I've completely forgotten about it. My favourite genres are contemporary YA. I've loved contemporary teen fiction since I actually was a teenager. I used to read quite a lot of fantasy and science fiction as well, but mostly I loved reading contemporary, which was quite hard back then. I don't think there were as many good books out. The scene has definitely improved in that respect. Also, books are a lot longer, which is nice, because back when I used to go to the library at the weekend on a Saturday, I could get 8 books out that were like this thin, and I'd have read all but one of them by Sunday, and I'd have to make the other book last for the next 3 weeks. I also really love urban fantasy, not paranormal romance so much. I like my urban fantasy to have a bit more adventure and plot. If there's some politics thrown in, that's good. I like really good world building. I'm not really interested in the basic girl meets vampire or girl meets werewolf or girl meets fairy stories. I like them to have a pinch of darkness or a generous blob, and more going on to them than just romance. I also really love fairy tale retellings, which I didn't get into until I was at university and studying Angela Carter, who is my favourite author. Not all of her books are fairy tale retellings, but she has written a collection of short stories called The Bloody Chamber and Other Stories, which are all fairy tale retellings. And lots of other stories have this kind of fairy tale edge to them. But studying her really opened my mind up to all the wonderful fairy tale retellings that are out there. I will read any book that is a fairy tale retelling, pretty much. Just literally, you can shove a book at me and go, "It's a fairy tale retelling," and I will read it. I love them. I think they're fantastic. It's just taking that traditional story and subverting it. I'm currently reading Sunshine by Rory McKinley, which is quite fairy tale-ish. I mean, I know this author loves Beauty and the Beast. She's done retellings of Beauty and the Beast twice, and this kind of also has a touch of Beauty and the Beast to it, but it's really interesting. It's really long, as you can see. I'm not even halfway, and I've spent hours reading this, and it's about a girl, or a young woman really, who gets kidnapped by vampires. And if I say any more, I think I'll spoil it, so I won't. This has also got my favourite gadget, my favourite bookish gadget on it, which is the gimbal, which is basically just a piece of plastic with curvy bits, but it's really good. I love it. I can eat and read at the same time. Some people can knit and read at the same time, thanks to the use of a gimbal, but yeah, don't go. I haven't gone in for that, I haven't tried it. It sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. After that time I was listening to Pride and Prejudice on audiobook and really messed up some knitting and was up till 4 in the morning trying to sort it out. Because I thought if I went to bed I'd forget how I made the mistake. How I made the mistake was getting really into the story of Lizzie Bennet. The last book I read was Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist, which I can't show you the cover of because I read it on my Nook and I borrowed it from the library, so it's expired. So I can't even show you the little front cover bit, which wasn't very interesting. All it had was the title and the publisher. Next up, I'm not sure, I've got a lot of options. I need to consult my reading spreadsheet. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I love spreadsheets, and I've made one for all the reading I plan to do for the rest of the year, in order to help me make as many of my reading challenge goals as possible. Basically, I put in the book I want to read, and I wrote yes in all the challenges it counts towards, and then the spreadsheet will tell me how many books I've got left to read for each challenge. So I designed this, put in all the books I want to read, use it to help me pick out some more, and I don't think I'm actually going to make any of my reading challenges, to be honest, because I've been redecorating. All these books here are not here normally at the moment. I got them out yesterday, so I'd have a nice backdrop for this video. And yeah, the redecorating is taking up so much time. I don't have much time to read or write. My favourite books when I actually was a teenager were the Diary of a Crush books by Sarah Manning. If you want to find more out about my love affair with these books, then check out my blog, because I did a Diary of the Crush week earlier in the year. But basically, I was obsessed. I used to read these over and over again, especially the second one, which is really, really beaten up at this point. Now published by Atom, and the first one looks like this. I think I prefer these covers, except that I'm not entirely sure that you would ever wear that jumper. Yeah. Maybe to like bed, but out in public, walking down the streets of Paris. To be fair, we actually get descriptions of almost all her outfits when she's walking the streets of Paris, and none of them are like that. Anyway, a book series that I wish had been around when I was a teenager is E. Lockhart's Ruby Oliver Quartet. I just love these. I think they are brilliant. Basically, the boyfriend list, the first one, is about a girl called Ruby whose boyfriend breaks up with her, and then 4 days later, he starts going out with her best friend. However, Ruby still goes with him to the school dance and kisses him, and then she becomes a social leper and famous slut, as she puts it herself. With all this going on, she starts having panic attacks, and so her parents send her to a therapist, where the therapist gets her to write a list of all the boys that she's ever liked, kissed, had a daydream about, or dated, and all the boys she's been rumoured to be involved with. And then she works through each of them. I wish I could have read the Ruby Oliver books when I was a teenager, because A, they're really fun, and there are lots of cute boys in them, and B, because I think they're really educational. Ruby has to learn to stop being passive-aggressive and to be upfront about her feelings, but also to respect other people's feelings more and to make better decisions, basically think before she acts. And I think these are lessons which so many people can benefit from. It makes such a difference to the way I see the world, just reading these books. Yeah, and if I'd read them at 15 or even 18, they would have really helped me. Finally, why am I wearing a hat? Why not? It's a great hat.